So this is my e46 wagon. What we got going on here today is we are actually at Miraclemotorwerks. So we're actually going to start doing a S54 swap on this thing. Not just S54 swap, but M3 rear end, M3 front spindles. So basically like a M3 conversion without the body kit. I'm kind of going more of like a sleeper look. I'm getting rid of the airbag suspension, and we're going to be going back to coilovers. So just spring and shocks, pretty simple. But yeah, it's going to be a long process. I'm planning on being here for at least like a week, every day, trying to get this worked out. I hit a pothole last night, and I actually bent two of my forge lines. I can't find any replacement on lines, but we have a wheel shop that's willing to go ahead and fix them for us. So that's one of the first things I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and start pulling all the wheels off, make a stack, throw it on the side. That way we're able to just grab them and send them off to the shop. At least the right side. The left side is currently okay. So, but main game plan today is, today's Tuesday. All right, it's 5:08 right now. Today we're gonna be working on the stripping part of the whole project. So obviously engine, trans, rear end, gas tank has to come out for the S54 swap. S54s have different fuel pumps and different fuel lines. So all that has to come out, and all that's gonna be replaced by M3 parts. So yeah, let's get started. All right, big fan is going. So cool, we got it in the air, got the wheels off. This is damage to the wheels. It's pretty sad. So unfortunately, these are very rare. Forge lines, comp RSs, very hard to find in BMW spec 4x120. And these were actually 18s. Most of them are 17s, which they fit e46s and other sort of race cars. This is front. This is rear. You can see it's bent right there. But yeah, found a guy locally that could do them both. So we're gonna go drop them off today. I'll drop us Instagram. Resto mod coming through. This thing is sick. Get back to work. We got to drop this exhaust. So one way of doing it is removing the header bolts, and then you're good to drop everything. This thing is pegged. Oh, it's on back. It's got to flex on me, bro. I'm getting rid of my kit, so. But let's go ahead and start dropping stuff. The exhaust is first. That way I can get the rear end out and then just get to working on something else. Alright, it's the next day. We are going to go ahead and remove the shifter assembly. This is pretty easy how to get this out. Obviously the window switch, you just throw them onto the side, but right here it's got 2 bolts. Once you lift this up, the shift knob just pulls up really hard. Be careful, because it really does get stuck on there. A lot of people get up here and just yank them out, hit their face. So I'm gonna go ahead and remove these 2 screws, and then this panel should come up, and then you're able to disconnect everything behind it, and then you should have empty space here to work. So let's get started on that. Okay, we got everything out. This information for the safety switch, I can't find much. It all refers to the clutch pedals at the bottom, and then you also have to wire in the harness off the manual transmission harness, or like pedal box, which I threw away because I don't have the donor car anymore. So I gotta figure something out. I'm sure I can get the new harness, but for now we're gonna go ahead and move to the pedals. This is, and the floorboard, got the pedals in. I forgot about the clutch line, but we got that all in. Now we're able to go ahead and just flip this carpet back over. All right, there we go. That's a lot better. The clutch line is right there, so it'll stay there. You put the little clip back in there, and it'll hold the carpet in place. Same on this corner up here. Put it back in, and then you're good to go. That's the clutch line. Let's go ahead and install the pedals. Welcome to my toolbox. So this is the original piece of the e46 M3 donor car. And then this is our original one off the Wagon. So what I did here is I used a Dremel, cut out all the plastic rivets, and I used the leftover material that was on the old piece, and I kind of cut it out and then used it here as a filling material to kind of use the soldering iron to melt the plastic and get this secured in place. So right now this is ready to be installed into the Wagon, and that's how we're going to continue this swap thing. Let's get to it. Here you have it. All right, CHP wheel, M3 cluster, M3 pedals. The whole thing's done. Not much else. I think I'm missing that rubber boot, but I mean, it is what it is. Might get a little bit of road noise. It's not going to be terrible, so I'm just going to deal with it for now. If it gets real bad, I'll go ahead and order it, but it's no need. Hopefully no exhaust leaks, so we should have no issues. Other than that, we're kind of done here. The interior is basically good to go. Next step is trying to figure out how to remove these bags. So the problem I had yesterday, so these bags are kind of funky, right? So you need to put a rib nut in there with some all thread, and then that all thread screws into the bag, but it also threads into the rib nut. The rib nut also, the way it's installed, you kind of pull it in. So if you put this on and it does any force upwards, it's going to extend that rib nut and it's basically just going to spin in place. So that's the problem I currently have, and I'm not sure how to remove it from the actual frame. We have that same issue on both sides, unfortunately, so it's going to be quite a process and trying to figure out how to get rid of this issue. We're going to go ahead and lift the car up and then go at it, you know. Hopefully we can figure something out. That way we don't destroy the bags and I can sell them, and also get these out of the way so we can go ahead and install our coilovers. So let's go ahead and lift up the car and start jacking with this. Hopefully we can get it out. Sweet, so we got the bags out. Basically, I had to split these rev nuts in 2 pieces. All right, so this is a collar, this goes on the outside, and then this is the piece that kind of stretches into whatever body panel you're putting them in. In this case, it would be the subframe. So let me show you. This goes threaded into the bag on the top piece right here. So for all the bags, you actually have to do that. So that's one thing you got to do with the bag install. If you're not comfortable with that, maybe bags are not for you. But just a heads up, this is what you have to do to your actual body. You have to make a hole there, get a rib nut kit, put that in there, and that way you have this little shaft that you can thread your bag into. And it actually kind of sucks because I feel like the bag is not tall enough on the rear. So you're actually riding at 100 PSI in the rear for it to be at okay-ish ride height, and then the front is usually like at 60. Even though the front is adjustable, the rear isn't. So there's that. So just keep that in mind. That's just part of the bag system. But yeah, we got that out of the way. We can start pulling the tank, but not yet. Fuel lines are coming out next. But yeah, we already got the clutch line out here, and that way we can go ahead and route it into the slave cylinder. But that's about it for now. Alright, so this is the fourth day. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Today's Friday. This is the third day. Alright, so what we're going to do, what we did yesterday, let me recap on that. Complete subframe bushing redone, swapped the diff for a good one, and then just trailing arm bushing, subframe bushings, diff bushings. Got brand new ones all around, so we should be good to go there. Next step, subframe. Front subframe is gonna get CHP front rack, and I'm gonna swap over all the plumbing and stuff off the M3, and that's gonna go into that subframe. I am going to remove the control arms because we're keeping, we're going to do CHP lowers. So here we have CHP lower control arms with metal bushings, or with metal ball joints. These are going to get pressed out. We're going to install new ones. These are still okay. They're a little flimsy, but they have zero play whatsoever. So I mean, for them to loosen up like that's pretty normal. That's kind of like what they're used for. But here, new motor mount's going to go ahead and install them on the subframe. Just kind of leave it ready to drop the engine. That's currently getting timing chain guides done. Whenever that's done, rod bearings, and it's gonna go on the subframe, and then we're ready to install. So I also need to remove the gas tank, but right now we're just gonna tackle this front steering stuff.
swear that you out of sight, man. I'm so up, I could be a pilot, and I just hope trying to catch a flight. So let me get the digits. I call right now if you with it. I seen 1,000 pretty girls in this room. $1 I've been looking for you. I've been searching, it's so hard to find a girl who's one of a kind. 'Cause being alone just isn't cool. I'll take 1,000 trips around the world just so I could find you, girl. 'Cause darling, I've been looking for you. Yeah, I'm looking for you. For you. I'm looking for you. For you. Let's get it now. I'm so up, I could be a pilot. Be a pilot. Be a pilot.
All right, there we have it. Rear end is in. M3 tank is in as well. Poly bushings, you know, I had to clock them because they have a groove where the subframe meets the rest of it, which I clocked it wrong at first. So subframe's in. I still gotta do the brake lines, do a check on the axles, make sure those are tight. I also need to go ahead and pull the shocks that are stuck on the caliper. Actually, that's kind of messed up. Well, anyways, that'll get done on Monday probably, or tomorrow, we'll see. Tristan's got the engine pretty put together. Timing is done. We polished up the Vanos assembly, so we should be good to go. Look how shiny it is. This thing's sick. The inside's very caked. I guess the previous owner took oil changes as an option, so we'll just say that. But other than that, it's pretty good. Ran healthy, so I'm not gonna worry about it. We'll just do oil changes often, and then we should be good to go. Brand new sprocket for the Vanos oil pump. Brand new line going through here up to the accumulator. So yeah, we're gonna go ahead and buff this as well, make it shiny, and then just go ahead and slap it in. Hopefully on Monday we can get this timing chain guide, and then I need to get this whole front end assembled. That way we can roll the car outside and give it a good pressure wash, because as you can see, it's very, very caked. So we would like to clean it before we assemble everything. So I guess tomorrow I can work on just assembling a front end, or I could just bring the original one and then just throw it in there, move the car around, and then call it good. So there's that. This all went in pretty smoothly, except for these bushings. They're kind of funky, so if you're installing these in your car, just beware. They're a little funny. So the thing is, this doesn't have like a washer because I'm missing the cross member. The M3s came with an X brace that went across here and bolted in like around here, I believe. But obviously this is a non-M, so it doesn't have the bolt-in space. So what we're gonna do is just run the stock one and then call it a day. So we'll continue here on tomorrow. Today is Saturday, so we started on Tuesday, and we've got this far already. So pretty good on my book, not gonna lie. It's been going by pretty quick, so I'm pretty happy with the results so far. But yeah, we'll see y'all. All right, here we have the front subframe. So far, I've got the wiring done for the clutch switch. So you add an extra pin to this, grab that harness out of a parts card. That's plenty of wires to do the whole thing. Underneath here, you go to the EWS module, and you also tap into the brake pedal switch. There we go. We tapped into the brake pedal switch, so now we have wires going into the slave cylinder right there. Oh wait, it's on this side. There we go. Ta-da! All right, so that's dealt with. Hopefully it starts. I can't really check anything because I have no engine. So engine's over here. Tristan finished the reseal for everything front main. He's gonna do the rear main and the actual rear main carrier. But we also got Megan Racing headers from another parts car that I just bought. We polished everything. This actually looks really good. I gotta get this cover from the parts car, but we should be good to go. Man. We got front subframe. We're gonna be putting it together. Got brand new little ball joints right there. Coilovers, M3 spindles in the front, new tie rod ends, inner tie rods, everything to drop in, and then get this out of here so we can clean this whole front end. So I'm gonna start the time lapse and get to work. So the swap is done. All right, we're back. Today's Thursday of the next week, so it's taken us a week and 2 days to get to this point. Right now, I'm gonna remove the M3 spindles. Turns out the ball joints on the lower control arms and the tie rod ends are a lot bigger for the M3 stuff, which is not going to work for me because this fitment with these wheels is garbage. I got 330 CHP front spindles that we're going to be installing. Hopefully it fits with the coilover, but it's basically just non-M front suspension with the M suspension in the rear. So I'm going to go ahead and get started swapping that stuff out, set up the time lapse, and see where we get.
Beat. Let's get it now.
Alright, so it's Friday. We got the engine in last night like at 3 a.m. so that was pretty cool. So today we're going to tidy up everything. First thing is plug in all the wiring, figure out where all this stuff goes. That way we can go ahead and actually see if it starts inside this thing. So fuel lines, all the wiring stuff. That's the essential things just to start it. I just want to turn it on, make sure it's all good, and then we can go ahead and start tidying up everything. That includes coolant lines, exhaust, AC lines, literally everything. And then we should be ready tonight or tomorrow. So we'll see how far we get, but this is basically the last of it. So let's go ahead and get started with this swap.
I would travel across the ocean just to prove to you my devotion. Take a rocket.
Let's go! Yo, it still got no oil pressure. Oh, there we go. Let's go! Hell yeah!
Space, if you admit that I can hold you closer, girl, I jump out of a plane for you and I rain for you. Like, look here, I came for you. They say being in love is crazy. Well, I guess I'm insane for you. I've been searching, it's so hard to find. Yeah, a girl who's one of a kind. 'Cause being alone just isn't cool. You know it ain't cool. I'll take 1,000.
Alright, so as you guys saw, we turned on the car. Tristan did a great job on the engine, so we should be good to go. Right now he's gonna go ahead and tighten the headers. We got the Borla midsection installed. So what we're gonna be doing here is gonna be a little funky. So he's gonna be tightening that so everything aligns properly. That way we can go ahead and mock this up and start cutting and welding. So we're gonna do a reducer to this Dynan muffler. I believe this is a 2-inch and that's 2.5. So we gotta cut around here and go ahead and mock it up and start welding stuff. I also got the drive shaft in, so we should be good to go there. Yeah, pretty close to getting her on the road. We're shooting for tomorrow.
Yeah, tomorrow.
Sweet. So tomorrow I'm gonna go do some donuts.
Go to the crack house.
The crack house. I'll draw some clips, but we just came back from like just hanging out, just doing a shoot for our friend's new company. He's dropping new shirts, hat, bunch of stuff over there. Paradise, got stickers too.
Just so I could find you, girl. Darling, I've been looking for you. Yeah, I'm looking for Let's get it now. I'm so up, I could be a pilot, be a pilot, be a pilot. I'm so up, I could be a pilot. Beat. Let's get it now.
This is the last day for the swap, so just button up a couple things at the bottom, sway bar wheels on, tying up steering rack, tying these boots. Interior has to be finished, but already got most of, at least the shifter center. At least I got the shifter assembly in. All I'm missing is this rear center console. This thing looks freaking sick. We also have the rear basically done as well, so we should be good to go. All right, we got interior kind of put together enough to at least test drive it. So I think I'm gonna go back to the OEM airbox because it is tuned, but it does take a little bit to start, and it also needs gas. So started. Now let's throw this stuff somewhere so it doesn't get ruined.
Disconnected.
Response is kind of sick.
Yeah.
Alright, this is the first drive after the engine got broken in. So obviously Tristan did the rod bearings and whatnot. So this is gonna be like the official first rip on the car. Here we are in the S54 swapped wagon. So thankfully it's all been really good. We're currently 700 miles into the swap. I had to wait 500 miles before I actually got on it and whatnot. Obviously this thing got brand new rod bearings, new timing tensioners, new Vanos hub, new seals everywhere. So we had to do kind of like a braking period, mainly for the rod bearings, but as well for everything else to get worn down properly. And that meant keeping it under 4,500, not putting too much load on the engine. Not gonna lie, kind of like close to like 500. I kind of started putting more load into it just to make sure everything would get seated properly. Downshifting, obviously that helps wear the rod bearings on the actual cap instead of just the rod part. So a lot of that was part of like the break-in process. I do need to change the oil. I've been tossing around the idea of just taking it to a BMW dealership and getting that done, just to see what the reaction would be. But yeah, I mean, it's been driving great. It definitely wakes up the car a lot. It's awesome. It's torquey. It's got a lot of power. I believe we have a little problem with the exhaust, getting close to like 7,000 RPMs. It starts not slowing down, but it has trouble picking up more speed, and that could be because of the reduction into the muffler. So the whole exhaust all the way back is 2.5, and then whenever it goes into the muffler, it goes down into 2-inch. Unfortunately, that's kind of part of it, unless I get a custom-made muffler, or I don't know if they actually sell 2.5-inch inlet mufflers for these. So the thing is, the M3s obviously have a different trunk pan, and then you have the quad tips. On the Wagon or 325s, non-M cars, they only have a single exit. It's on the left side. So what I did, I grabbed the Dynon muffler. I figured that would kind of give it a little bit better breathing. I figured that would help the engine a lot more, because it's an aftermarket muffler, but obviously at the higher RPMs it does struggle a little bit. Either way, I'm not too worried about it. This is not a car that I'm going to be tracking and competitively racing. This is just a fun get around car, a good daily. So that's what I've been doing so far. I've been daily driving it. There's a couple of things I need to iron out, like for example, the ABS light is on. I'm not sure why. I ordered a new K-CAN cable, K-LAN, the one that OBD2 port into the computer. That way I can hook up IMPA and then actually check what's going on. But at the moment, everything's, I mean, it runs great. It's super healthy. I do have the temper light on and then check engine light on. It also could be because of the ECU, and it's got no MAF. So for the airbox, the airbox only came on the CSLs, and that's the HP ECU. I did order all the stuff to wire in a map sensor and a temperature sensor, intake temperature sensor, which is needed for whenever you do the airbox conversion. But then I would also have to use the HP ECU, which is the CSL ECU, which I have. Just gotta get it tuned properly for the manual swap, basically, because all CSLs were actually SMGs. So there's that. There's a couple of things I have to do before we start actually. There's a couple other things I need to take care of before I actually think this thing is done. But we gotta get over. But yeah, this thing picks up really I'm very, very happy with the turnout for this thing. Great daily, I can't complain. Everything's been bulletproofed. It should be good for another 75,000 to 100,000 depending on how I drive it. And knowing the way I drive it, I'll probably just say good for 50,000 miles before I have to do rod bearings again. So it's just something to keep in mind that we'll need to tackle later. But yeah, I mean, that's how we did the swap. It took us 2 weeks. I didn't really go into much detail, but I kind of got the idea out of how to do it. It's pretty straightforward. It's just unbolt and bolt back in stuff, and then obviously modifications you might want to do to bulletproof your chassis, like for example, like welding in reinforcement plates, you know. So that's basically all we did modification wise to the body. It was the reinforcement plates. We did get this thing aligned already. It drives pretty good. It does have a slight pull to the right. Unfortunately, we can't adjust the toe properly. I don't know if it's because of the aftermarket bushings or the subframe might be a little tweaked from the crash, because the parts car I got this from, all the drivetrain was in a rear end accident. The quarter panels were kinked, but I didn't think the subframe took any damage, and it didn't look visually that it took any damage. So what we can do to fix that is tow buckets. So they sell tow buckets at Drift HQ. They do them a lot for lowered cars, so you can adjust the tow properly. But obviously in my case, my subframe might just be tweaked. I could just swap out the subframe, but that's the last thing I want to do after I just pulled this whole thing apart and put it all back together. For now, tow buckets will do. At some point I might replace the subframe. I have a spare, but just swapping all the bushings over to another subframe sounds like not very fun. So there's that. But yeah, thank you guys for watching the video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. This was a very fun project and kind of a one of my goals was to swap my E46 wagon with S54. So I'm very, very happy with the turnout. Thank you, Tristan from Miraclemotorwerks, who did all the engine work and then let me that lift for around 2 weeks while we knocked everything out. We could have maybe done the swap quicker if I had ordered everything. I did have most of everything that we needed, but whenever it got to engine stuff, we're already here. Let's just do time and change engineers, you know, like just a lot of different little things that we might as well while we're in here. So that's why it took us probably like an extra 5 days, just order parts and wait for them to come in to get the engine ready and throw it in here. But I mean, time frame wise, we didn't do too bad. I wasn't too much of a bother in his shop taking up too much time, so I'm pretty content. But yeah, thank you guys for watching this video of swapping this E46 wagon with the S54. If you guys have any questions, I'll try to answer all the comments on how to do stuff and how to go about the swap if you're looking to put an S54 into a E46. But yeah, thank you guys for watching.